In fact, I'm going to move myself over here so that Phillip can come in and so that you can see me amongst the irises. This is a 3-piece reblooming bearded iris live plant that you're going to be ordering today. You'll get 3 growing plants, which you can see down front. We'll go into great detail, no problems, but 3 easy pays here at $9.67. The other thing, this is Phillip Watson. This is Check Pat's pocket. Where did I put the cue card? 5 easy pays is always a way that you can go ahead and, work it into your budget. Phillip Watson is a horticulturist, a landscape designer, known up and down the East Coast in the most incredible estates. His own homes have been featured in really top of the line, impressive magazines. And he brings this collection to QVC and only to us. So, hi, my dear friend.
Look at us.
Good to have you back.
Look at us.
Good
Here
to have
we
you
are
back.
in the garden, and I have to tell you, the iris is my favorite of all perennials.
Is it
Not
really?
just today, every day. And it's the first flower that I noticed when I was a kid that was a perennial. And I grew up in rural Mississippi, and I have to tell you, I learned so much about plants from the country people. And you know what they would call this flower?
No.
In honor of St. Patrick's Day, but not really. Oh, the Irish flowers are so beautiful. These are irises. And my 3 favorite varieties here, they're perennial. They come back every year, and they're my 3 favorites right there in this bed in Connecticut. They don't take any mulch. They do like full sun to slight shade, a well-drained soil. This is an heirloom perennial. They come back every year, and there's the gorgeous Victoria Falls, which is blue on blue. Every part of it is blue, and every part of that flower is fragrant, and it blooms in the spring, and guess what? Again in the fall, and not just a little bit.
In the spring, and then again it comes back in the fall.
Yes, and a lot of things that that rebloom, they don't do it as big as they did the first time. This is a big show every time that they do it, spring and fall. And also in the collection, we have Harvest of Memories, which is the yellow one that you see in the collection here. It is the best of all of the yellow reblooming irises. I love it, extremely fragrant. And then we also have a white one in the collection called Immortality, which was the first reblooming iris to be discovered, and it's the parent of the rest of them.
Oh, that's so cool.
How about that?
I love the genetic about the whole thing. Oh, look how pretty. You can buy as many sets of these as you want. You know, the easiest thing to do is that easy pay option. I will also remind you, and as I was prepping for the show today, your voice was in my head saying, get prepped for the things. Don't wait till they arrive at your door, because they're going to arrive when it's appropriate time to put them in the ground. So I ordered the fertilizer. That's available, the time-release fertilizer, M67954. And Phillip has one of the easiest fertilizers to use. Not messy, easy.
And I do recommend feeding your plants. The iris will appreciate it, particularly because they're going to bloom again in the fall. After they bloom in the spring, then you just, like you're feeding the chickens with the fertilizer, and just sprinkle it on and water it in. There's no mixing, there's no mess or anything like that. And then it sends up new foliage, and then by the end of August into September, these will start blooming again. And what I'm shipping out to you is not bare root.
Nice.
These are established plants. They will bloom this year. They don't like mulch. In other words, don't cover up that thing that looks like a miniature sweet potato.
The little knob
Leave that
part?
above ground.
Leave that
That's
above?
right.
Okay.
And these will grow in a container all winter.
Really?
If you pick up the whiskey barrel, you can plant all 3 of them in one big whiskey barrel, and it can stay out there forever.
How many would you put in the whiskey barrel?
Well, you can put 1, or you can do all 3 and have that kaleidoscope of color as I'm showing you here.
Look.
And you can divide
Look how pretty
them.
these are. Sorry, I just had to do it.
No,
because
thank
I wanted
you.
to see what it looked like. Look at that. Thank you, Judy. Look how nice that is. So only plant it to here. But it's really well rooted already.
They're well
I mean,
rooted.
that's a lot. Is this one plant?
That's one plant, but it's already starting to multiply because, see, it forms a colony, which is really nice. It's long-lived, say like a peony is.
Yeah.
In fact, if you've got peonies, you can alternate these. Have the peonies and then the iris. And just a fabulous look in the garden, but it's an heirloom. And the old-fashioned irises, after they bloomed in late spring, the foliage will start to die back. The nice thing about these is that the foliage...
And what do I do with it?
It's not going to die out. Honey, listen to me.
It doesn't?
They're not going to die out.
It's not.
Because it's getting ready for the fall bloom. It's sending up new foliage all the time. And you see how beautiful the foliage is?
Yeah, the foliage
It's
is
better
nice.
looking than any ornamental grass. Or in the middle of the summer, you've got this spikiness. And I do all the photography for my books.
Yes, you do.
And the iris foliage really pops in the photographs because it gives me that structure, which I love. But again, 3 plants, very easy, and you often find them bare root, or you'll find a plant as the size of what I'm shipping out in a gigantic pot, which means you paid for all of that dirt that you don't need. These are shallow rooted plants, and there's a beautiful Victoria Falls, which is blue on blue. It's like the perfect spring day color. And then we got the bright yellow of the Harvest of Memories. These are the best of the best. It's the best blue, it's the best yellow, and the white one we have in the collection, Immortality, is the daddy of all of them.
Remind
this was
us
the
again.
first reblooming iris. Yes.
Sun
To morning sun, to slight shade,
All right.
well drained. That's the trick.
Well drained?
Yes.
Okay.
Well drained,
So that's
and
the
do
trick.
not mulch irises because it causes too much moisture to stay there.
Oh, okay. And they don't
I
like
have my dedicated iris beds. Like I have my peonies in one spot. I have my iris in one spot. They don't really like company. And so that's why I said if you've got peonies, you can alternate those with the iris, and they're worth it to give them their special spot. And you'll see, if you've never smelled the fragrance of an iris, you'll be smitten. And that was what got it to be my favorite one. It was the unique fragrance of it, because it's a soft fragrance, it's a clean fragrance. And then when you smell it, when it blooms again in the fall, it's not like a fall chrysanthemum. It brings forth the hope of spring, except it's in the fall. And that's what I like.
Can I cut these and bring them in?
They bloom for just about 3 days, and what I do is I don't cut the whole stalk. You know how I show the lilies where you just cut off one bloom and stick it in a tall bud vase or a pop bottle, and you can smell the fragrance. You know, I do it at my kitchen sink, in my bathroom, because you know I'm nice to myself in case nobody else is nice that day.
Well, you should be. And the kitchen
you got to
sink,
be ready.
I don't know what it is about the kitchen sink area, but that always has to be nice. It's that way in my house too. Yeah, because that's where you're hanging out, right? You know, waiting on everybody else. This picture of you with the iris is buy as many sets as you want. We're getting towards the end of garden season, so it's really important. All free shipping and handling. These will not go out until it's the perfect time to put them in the ground where you are. And of course, you'll get a wonderful growing guide, so you don't have to worry.
They're guaranteed for an entire year. So don't worry. I'm not going to be worrying. It makes you look bad.
Oh, here.
What? You going to be there?
I'm going to be there.
I'll be here.
Okay. Oh, really? We're not doing those? Okay. I was ready to jump into the big deal.